And me too, nigga. I just got off work.
You just got off.
I just got off work. I worked from 7 to like 9 today.
All right, it's rolling. People. We're back. Another week. Fresh from work. But we gonna press through.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for listening and rocking with us. We do really, really, really appreciate it.
Love y'all. Love y'all.
All 2 of y'all. We appreciate
all
it.
All 3 of y'all.
We most definitely appreciate it. And I'll jump into it. Let's get to the toast and then let's move on.
We taking shots tonight.
Taking shots.
Shots. shots. Yeah. Shots. This is shots of Americano.
Americano. That still sounds exquisite.
With the pinky up.
With the pinky up. And it goes as such. We all fall, but we say don't trip. We all been called, but all stall a bit. We all stand tall, and to that time we slip. Just admit, without the grace of God,
I'm really bad at this.
Fellas, another week. Another, I don't know, moment in time has gone by now.
Yeah.
What's been up? I want to jump in on what's been up.
What's been up with you, Jay? You always seem to go last. What's been up with you lately?
I got another video in the can.
Oh, here we go.
Another one. Y'all saw the first one.
Yeah.
What y'all think? I got your reaction. I got that, but on the real, don't fluff it up and be whatever. And don't give and don't give up too much. But from what y'all saw, how do you think other people gonna react?
Man, this is the thing about you, Jay. Like, you always been in your bag no matter where the rest of the genre is. And we always love that about you. But we noticed that, okay, that's going to cater to a certain audience. It reminds me kind of like Solange. Solange and R&B has always been dope, always had a cult following, always had super dope albums, concerts, artwork, fashion.
Yeah.
Conversation, everything about her has always been dope, but she's not her sister. She's not Beyonce.
Yeah.
And so if you can only stomach what's on the radio, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, you may not be ready for what my man Say is bringing to the table. But for the rest of us who maybe listen to Erykah Badu, Tribe Called Quest, or some of the other stuff like Deep Cuts, you bring that stuff that we want to vibe to, Jay, and this is no different, man.
I think if Talib and Black Thought had a baby, then Jay would be birthed.
Nice.
Talib and Black Thought.
That's good. That's good company.
That's lovely.
I appreciate that.
He'll be birthed out of this.
Yeah. What's cool about it is it's like I'm really at this stage. First of all, I didn't even think, rewind back, that I would be even doing any music at this point.
Yeah.
To be honest. That just was the real. My boy gassed me up and was like, let's do some remixes of your old stuff. Oh, okay, whatever. You know, it's coming up on a lot of years since I did that. I was like, okay, whatever. And then life got to life, and then here we are. But then what's cool about it is it's not for money. It's not for because I'm signed to some label and I got to crank out something. It's just I have an opportunity to just create, looking at all the tools that we have available, you know, at our fingertips now to just get stuff out, just on some art, just on some whatever. And then, working with AD and LaDon, who's like a super creatives and very diligent dudes. It's just surprisingly has come together, and we're starting with these this 3 video series, and it's just straight from reality and telling my story. And here's the funny part, because before all this, it was like, I had this idea of telling my story, because y'all think I'm telling crazy stories now about just the last few years of my life. Wait till I get to the way before and the whole journey and how I got here. I think for me, it's a trip because, of course, I lived it. But then, 2, it's like, I know I never saw it as being helpful to somebody else. I thought it was entertaining, it was cool, and it was going to be fun on an artistic level, but I never made a connection that it could actually help people. And that's what the little first video, for those listening, I've let some people see it, and I need, some feedback, and hopefully soon we'll be sharing a lot of that feedback. Yeah. But what I was getting from a lot of people was like, oh man, it's timely. It's going to help a lot of people. And that made me feel good because that's what I was doing it for. Like I said, it's not so much a return or even though resources are put into it or what have you. It's just, man, do you think this is going to really help somebody? And let's figure out how to do that with, your skill set. And it's like, all right, whatever. So I say all that so it's not like when you do see this stuff, it's not pushed by something. It's not like, oh man, I hope, millions of people see it and I'm trying to shape it so it fits into whatever's going on. It's like purely like what we think, those involved creating it, what we think is dope and what we think is going to be most impactful. And so it's fun. I'm just saying it's fun creating from that versus, man, I got to get on this platform or that platform, and this is like, nah. We want to do what we feel is dope. You know what I mean? And that to me, I've never created from that space, like without have any of that.
If you haven't yet, you need to grab Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act. Have you gotten on that yet?
Nah, Rick Rubin is dope, though.
Rick Rubin got a book, and he got the audio book, and he reading it. That's the key. That's the key for me. Rick Rubin is out here telling the creatives the audience comes last, Jay. Yeah. The audience is the last on the list of people that you have to please. He says he says stuff like the Creative Act is hindered by your insecurity of what the audience is going to,
I believe that,
like or not like about it. But what you like about it can unleash like new levels of creativity. And he's not just talking about taking swings for no reason. I mean, they need to be measured. They need to be calculated. Somebody besides you got to like it.
Yeah.
But it can't be at the top of the list of your priorities that, I need all the listeners to really, really feel this. Like, nah. That's not a healthy thing in most spaces of creativity.
What I've gotten, and it's funny you say that, you bring him up. What I've learned from him is one of the big things, because he was doing his series of interviews, and I was watching all of them. And when he did his podcast, I was all on it. Mm-hmm. Rick Rubin is always big on, don't be making no product.
Man.
Like you can't think of it as like I'm making a product. He's like, that's the wrong avenue to go down, and it is so true. That's why I was saying last pod, and I do highly recommend it because I went to it to be inspired, and I left because I just knew it, and that was that Pharrell movie, Piece by Piece. First of all, this dude tells his story, and he takes a risk because it gotta be like, to me, for me to really be into it, like art, it's like I'm into the chance takers. I'm into people who, like, they might lose, but so what? They gonna go for it. And him and whoever the guy who did the interviewing of, he got some kind of background where everybody respects him. I didn't know him, somebody do, but he's very good at it. I was watching the interview of them too, but he's like, man, he didn't want to tell his story. His manager was like, you should tell your story, but then told him that you could do it however you want. Don't think that it's some formula to it, and that's what made him excited about it, because he could be creative doing it. And then he took it to a step further and was like, I'm gonna make it a Lego movie. And who in their right mind would think about doing that? But the way he did it, he pulled it off, and he got anybody he's produced for it, from Gwen Stefani to Jay-Z. Nori is in it, because Nori, now I understand how Nori was so significant.
With the Neptunes beats from the very beginning.
From the beginning. If it wasn't for Nori, Pharrell wouldn't even been on.
Hey, play it. You can play it. I got it for you.
What? Nah, I don't. Oh, you talking about that? Just send it to me.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, play the Rick Rubin joint, man. It's right. It complete. Every time I see Rick Rubin talking, I'm thinking about folks like Jay, and not just like just the hippie guys that always do something off the wall. But because make no mistake, Rick Rubin is a part of some hits in a few different genres. He's part of some platinum crazy successes.
He's a real creative. He's an artist, like to the core, and
rock
people
and roll
who know
stuff,
him,
some Def Jam stuff. Yeah, like he was in.
He talks art. You most definitely need to listen.
That's what people think. It's like just because I like it, that doesn't give it any value. It's like as an artist, if you like it, that's all of the value. That's the success comes when you say, I like this enough for other people to see it. Not other people like it, so it's successful. That doesn't mean anything because that's other people liking it is out of your control. All that's in your control is making the thing to the best of your ability. It's all an offering to God. And if you're making an offering to God, you're not thinking about, oh, what's the budget? Or I hope this segment of the audience is gonna like it. We don't think like that. It's a higher vibration. We're making the best we can make to the best of our ability out of love and devotion. That's what it is. And there is no, I'm changing it for someone else, because it can't be better than this devotional act that we're doing.
That's dope.
Man.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Nah, he's on it, and he most definitely is somebody that, you know, like I said, I checked in with, you know, years ago. I remember his interview that he did was so dope with Kendrick Lamar. It's like,
yeah, in his backyard, huh?
In his studio.
It's the studio was like a trailer or a bus in the backyard.
And,
it was hard.
And that's in, you know, he did that in Malibu, you know what I mean? Like, but he turned that little space into like a studio because of acoustically how it sounded. And he just will do that great stuff that people be like, man, that's crazy. But obviously he gets, you know, results from taking a chance. But I think, the valuable lesson in is that doing it for yourself first. And it's so like when you're younger, it's so many people pulling at you and there's so many things that you're looking at and you're like trying to fit in, and those who win don't do that. They close themselves off from that and they do just what he just said, and they just make the stuff that they like.
That's dope.
Like him. So that's what I've been doing, and shot the second one yesterday. That's why I'm dragging now. Was out in Oceanside, and it's coming along. And what I like is when there's a shot being done and they're looking at it and they jumping around like little kids, like, yes,
we got it.
That's it.
That's it.
And that gets me excited. It's like, yo, we're really on to something. And I got wifey in it too.
You know, to go along to what you and James were saying and what Ruben was saying is that I think what he's saying is what this podcast is all about. You know what I'm saying? Is when you look at you see something and you want to like recreate it, but in actuality you just be who you are, do what you love, and see that a lot of people think that they're the only ones. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, to mixing in with this pod is like there's other people out there that's just like you.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? You do what you like, you put it out there, and guess what? It's a whole group of people out there that
will connect.
Look, just that love things just like you love.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the connection I got with that. And me and James, we dabble in other business ventures and everything like that. And that's what I've always said. Like there's a core audience out there that's just gonna love what you do.
Yeah. And what's so dope is that, and what I mean by us having the tools that we have now is that you can easily connect with that audience.
Yeah.
It's nobody stopping you from connecting to people now. You'll be hard pressed, especially in this new generation. You'll be hard pressed to find people who are not on social media.
Yeah.
On some form, on one of the platforms, whether it be Reddit, Instagram, or what's the Pinterest. It's like people are on social media. Just like in the 80s we was on TV. Like we looked at anybody on TV like, oh man, they didn't made it. If you on TV or you was on a commercial, or even I remember kids who was like at the beginning of some show. They was cameoed at the little intro of the show. They was hot because that's where all the eyes were. Well, all the eyes now is on social media, and if you show up, especially consistently, you'll begin to connect with whatever audience is.
But can you think about it? Somebody was just sitting at home like, man, I love the way this comb sounds scratching on the table.
I know. Ain't that crazy?
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody was sitting at home was like, man, I want to see how much food I can eat at this one setting and slurp it all up.
Yeah.
I like doing this. Let me put it on YouTube. Now they got 6 million views.
Yeah. You know how many? Like, you know how many people be on YouTube every month? It's what, about 8 billion people in the world. It's almost 3 billion active users on YouTube every month.
It's
3 billion.
It's a social, phenomenon, and like you were just saying, Buki, it's a lot of people doing a lot of things that they just like doing, and then they just blew up. You know what I mean? And the people come and connect with them for different reasons. You know what I mean? But now we're without excuse. Yeah. It used to be like gatekeepers everywhere. And so if I wanted to get on TV, I had to know somebody. Mm-hmm. Even if I had money for a commercial, I still would have to know who to pay, and then how it would get placed. I would still have to know somebody.
Right.
But you do it all yourself now. And, and we promote it all ourselves now.
And it's a YouTube video for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now,
you got to do everything.
YouTube is just the ultimate, helpmate. The ultimate guide. Like, man, if I'm having an issue like we was having at the Airbnb, was having an issue with the Roku TV trying to figure out how to reset it, I went straight to YouTube. How to do it. And then somebody doing stuff. And I've even sent stuff to guests. They like, we don't know how to do that. I'll be like, I don't know it either. Look it up on YouTube, see a video, be like, all right, then shoot it to them. And they be like, thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's just a huge help, as well, that we have access to. It's just like they say, a lot of people say it, but I really do believe it. It's a wonderful time to be alive.
Yeah, man. YouTube is a dad I never had.
Exactly.
Just
fix stuff in the car. How to put lights and stuff in my car. I went straight to YouTube.
Yeah.
And it told me how to piece by piece. Oh, okay. Boom. Bought the lamp, put it in, because Lexus be a little tricky with theirs, pulling it out and all that. You be scared. Back in the day, I wouldn't even mess with it. I'd have been like trying to pay somebody, but I can watch somebody do it step by step. I'm like, it's a game changer.
Yeah. And I just love, you can get so much off of YouTube, bro. Like these Microsoft Office classes cost thousands of dollars. Yep. And you just go on YouTube man, how to do this in Excel?
15 seconds.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
I use it all the time at work. I want to put these columns in and this and that.
But it does have a downside. It has a dark side. Because I also went there one time and was like, how can you pass a drug test?
See, now that brings up what happened to me this week. So here's what happened to me. We at the church meeting, and they talking about all the leadership or whatever. They start talking about the deacons. I got kicked off the deacon board this week.
What are you talking about?
I got kicked off the deacon board at my church.
You're lying.
Messing with y'all.
You're lying.
I'm blaming y'all. I don't care what really happened, but I was a deacon for the longest at my church. Then I started a podcast with you two clowns, and now I'm off the deacon board.
Wait a minute.
I got kicked off the deacon board, man.
How you get kicked off the
And I know it's because of this podcast, because my pastor been saying, man, hey, you guys got a lot of stuff going on. We got guys out here. They're doing street ministry. We got guys in Haiti. We got guys doing podcasts. We got.
Then they listen to it.
Yeah, see? So man.
This not part of the street ministry category?
It gotta be.
Mookie, I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying?
This part of the street ministry.
Category.
You need to put us in the same category. Who was we talking about? Fight with the Hebrew Israelites last week. Victory Outreach. Yeah. You need to put us in that same little category. We over there doing street, but you think it was because of the pod, or they just was tired of you? Come on, tell the truth, James.
I gotta blame you for a couple weeks before.
No, let me tell you what happened.
What you think happened, Boo?
My ear to the street. Dog.
Okay, all right.
He never made up with his accountability partner.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Yeah, I remember
that man. It been 6 months. He ain't called that man.
That is true. We didn't hear nothing else about that. We don't.
Oh, we heard something else. All right.
Oh, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, certain subjects is off limits.
Oh man,
We gonna postpone this one?
yeah.
I forgot about that. I just remembered that. Yes. But what did they tell you? How you know you kicked off? Because first of all, I've never heard anybody being kicked off the deacon. So how did they notify you?
They didn't notify me. They just notified the church who the deacons was, and I wasn't one of them.
No, but did they do? Maybe they just got a special place for you. Because you look, you ain't stopped doing anything that you was doing before, right?
Nah, I ain't stopped doing nothing. But
then,
I started something.
Yeah.
I started. One thing is different about my life now. It's this little moment.
They on that
What was
now.
that?
Yes,
I missed that.
Yes.
Oh, weasel-eyed heathen.
That's how you view. That's how you view now.
I was doing good until I got to mess around with y'all.
Nah. But
No, here's what really happened. It's funny, but here's what really happened. So
Yeah.
I told y'all before, I'm like, I got a new job and I went back to school so I could get, this little credential that I want to have so I could be, solid in my industry, HR and all that type stuff. So they know that. I told them like, hey man, it's going to be a tough year. 2025 going to be a little more hectic for my schedule. And they the kind of leaders that are like, okay, then that means you're going to fall back from some other stuff.
Yeah.
That's how they do that. So if they say, hey, James, you got a lot going on, then you can keep this thing and this thing. We're going to move everything else to somebody else. That's the kind of leadership that I love, man. It's why I really do rock with my pastors and all they like they peers are like that too. If they see you doing something and you overextending yourself, they like, nah, you got to fall back from that. Let's let somebody else work on that. You smiling. You ain't buying it.
Or was it gracism?
And some people at different churches, they don't respect people from other churches. And that is called gracism.
Here you go.
When people have gracism, they ain't offering grace to everybody. No.
It wasn't gracism. It wasn't.
It might have been.
Nah, but
it might have been.
I know they just did that whole vote thing, and like, if you wanted to add, like, if you wanted to be because how it was run, I think is very biblical. It's like,
if you see somebody that's already kind of active in the streets,
add them to this, and then we'll consider whatever.
That man got booted off at the primaries.
Yes, that's what it is.
I couldn't make it out the primaries, dog.
I think that's it, Mookie.
I didn't make it to the primaries.
They got some
James no game Harris.
I tried to say we not going back. We not going back.
Nah.
Yeah, you not going back on the list either.
Nah, they love James. I know they ain't, and you right. They not gonna overload you and all that.
Yeah, so they know I'm in a different space right now. I'm really trying to get a hold of my schedule. I'm like notorious procrastinator, analysis of paralysis, all that type stuff, man. Like even the stuff that I want to get done, I have to prioritize so I can focus on it and do it well. And sometimes I don't prioritize it well either. It's like a bad spiral that I go through sometimes, but I appreciate them. They'll say like, nah, fall back a little bit.
And dude, I already know if they was really listening to this podcast, they would have already shut us down.
I don't think
That's
so.
That's how I know that, man. I know.
don't think so. They leave room. They leave room for us to figure stuff out. They really do, man.
Nah, bruh. I've been really thinking about that
too. We gonna ask them. We'll come back. Yeah, we gonna ask them.
We could
because I feel like
just don't play on the last 2 week episodes of the mushroom.
No.
See now the funny part is before I dropped the weed episode, I was talking to one of my pastors the day before, and he was like, you might want to tell your daughter, and I talked about that part or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did, and it was all good because he was like, it would be better that that, she heard it from you than hearing it from somebody at the church or one of her friends. And I totally agree with that. But I knew, I'm like, okay, when I let that cat out the bag, I'm like, he probably gonna listen to that episode for sure.
Bro, if you think these dudes got time to listen to this with the stuff that's going on,
I don't think they do.
They don't have time.
That's what I'm saying.
I
that's
mean,
why
just
I'm like,
the stuff we getting wind of, Jay. Come on.
Yeah.
Think of just the stuff we know about.
Yeah, and
I even close to the other stuff that they not going.
Man,
come on, dog.
If I be honest,
go ahead.
There is, stuff that, because we open with our pastors and we talk and given the opportunity. But even with all the stuff I'm going through and all the stuff, man, them niggas ain't checking on me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, just what you're saying. They busy, bruh.
Bro, they got real fires to put out.
Super fires. And I'm not like a fire that needs to be put out, but
it's just a charcoal.
Yeah.
That's still still smoking.
Still smoking a little bit. I can start a little fire.
Yeah, we need to dump the ice on this one.
Yeah,
Get the ice.
I'm really not like mad that they not like checking, because it's not that. It's just that I'm knowing just what you just said, that is so much going on at any given church for a pastor, especially a church our size, that people are going through all kind of crisis. And then you got people that you want to mentor too. Right. So you're spending time with people that you're trying to build up, plus time, trying to put out fires and stuff. And then you got, speaking here and there, preparing for sermons and stuff like that. You can have a full plate. These people got a family of their own, kids of their own, mamas and daddies of their own, that they, so I get it, but at the same time, it's like, dang, what else you supposed to be doing?
It ain't no major fires over here.
Nah, I mean, if it was, they would know, because my wife would be snitching on me.
Shots fired. Catching strays.
She most definitely would be snitching on me, saying it's a fire over here. To me, that's God's grace. I'm saying that jokingly, but I have a wife that if it got bad enough, she feels comfortable going to somebody else and getting help and not feeling like, she trapped and she can't talk to nobody. I don't like that either. I hate hearing anybody in that position.
This is another aspect of it that I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that you have to prioritize what type of fires you think you have the ability to put out.
Yeah.
If I see 6 fires going, I'm going to try to measure, okay, what should I be which one of these is going to blow the building up?
Yeah.
Well, a couple of these, y'all go stomp that out. Buki, you go stomp that fire out. Jay, you grab the fire hose. I'm going to go grab some sand or whatever. And we'll just do our own thing, because what we talking about is important.
Yeah.
We don't want to be out here misrepresenting the faith or misrepresenting our family or anything.
Yeah.
But that's like, we going to fall. We going to have struggles.
Mm-hmm.
When you have crises going, y'all go ahead and struggle over there. Y'all all right? Y'all gonna make it? I'm going over here, because I think y'all can kind of y'all can figure that out yourself. Yeah. And I don't have to be the person that.
Which is what I feel like.
That's probably what it is. They ain't necessarily like, oh, I'm super excited to hear about some of the stuff. They probably not excited about some of the stuff, but they know that, okay, they'll be all right. Let me go over here, because this is like almost full crisis mode. And I think that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to pick your battles, even as a pastor. I can imagine we do that as parents. I'll see my kid running up her credit card, and I'll be like, I want to stop her, but I also want her to learn this lesson. So I'm gonna let it ride this time. I got other stuff going. We got other stuff we got to deal with. So I can't be on her about 5 different things. Yeah. I'm gonna let her have that one. But these other 3 I got to talk about. We got to deal with. But I'm gonna let her run up her card a little bit, because she need to learn that lesson. She's gonna have to dig out of that hole, and I'm not gonna help her.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm not gonna pay for nothing. I'll help her, but I ain't gonna pay for the stuff. You bought the stuff, now you got to pay it all back.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like, yo, if you don't do that, play this one. If you don't do that, this is what you end up doing. If you, as a pastor, this is what's probably going on with some of these guys that are like micromanaging every little household that they over. It's not healthy.
Micromanaging every little household that they okay. Here's this guy right here. Yeah,
this how you end up.
Let's see what he's talking
about. Pastors be like.
Sit down.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but I'm confused, perplexed, bewildered. How is it that if God is love, and some of y'all claim to have his spirit, you always got a bad attitude, you mean, got a smart mouth with no degree? I wonder how is it that you love God, but you hate who he died for? I don't need an amen from nobody in here. Be quiet. Listen, that's your problem. I got a question. I wonder if God allowed you to wake up every day smelling exactly like your attitude, would you even go outside? You bet not say amen. Some of y'all would literally wake up smelling like horse hiccups, cat coughs, lonely days, unfinished job applications, wet nickels, room temperature bath water, earring backs, black jelly beans, the taste of it, that's what you would smell like. Cologne on a dirty body, headphone cushions, every single Android phone case. I bet you change your attitude then. I bet your attitude wouldn't be so stank if you had to wake up smelling like it. You bet not say amen.
Man, let me tell you. There's so many abusive pastors that be sounding like that.
That's
bro.
so abusive, bro.
I don't know why people be like even in them churches, but it's always them cats. You be seeing the video like the dude that told the choir to stop, like just how they start singing, like nah, and then just was like, did y'all rehearse that? It was just wild. I'm like, how could they go to his church, man?
Yeah,
that's not loving. Nah, that dude was clowning. That was very funny. And but it'd be people who be really sitting in front of people like that.
Like,
bro.
I'm grown, fam. I'm not finna get yelled at too much more.
Like that, dude. That would be my last Sunday, dude. Because that just shows that, dude, you out of control, bro.
You out of control.
And you just don't want to abuse members. You want people who just accept that kind of.
You just want to abuse your members.
That's just like, that's wild, though. That's but that's funny. You don't want to be like that. You don't.
And that's what I was saying. Like you'll get to that space micromanaging every little thing. Like, oh, guys, I heard what you said on the podcast. Like, oh, sis, I saw what you wore last week. Oh, brother, I saw you and your wife not getting along in the parking lot. Like, fam, we'll figure some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
We'll figure some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta police every little thing grown folks is doing. And you don't have to do that. You're gonna burn yourself out and you're gonna end up talking to us like that. Stop that, dog.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I think that's where some of that come from. Not having no help and then just burning all the way out.
That's what I was about to say. When you got help, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of that pressure comes out, especially when you got people that's around. You be like, yeah, James will check Jay. Jay gonna check James, and such gonna check them. They in a solid community on the side. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you really don't have to. When it comes to you, then it's a major situation.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's that storefront church behavior.
That is, Jay. I'm on
that small.
I'm on a mission to
two
shut them down.
There, and that's it. And
yes,
I've seen that, and that's like, man. And I'm not saying just because it's small, there's something wrong with it. But nah, it's, you know what I mean. That storefront is usually that pastor by himself.
Yeah,
trying to run everything and do everything, and
start feeling like he ain't got no help. He start talking like that,
and he starts talking like that, and he does take it out. And I remember when I was a part of a church like that. I was very young though. And I was there because it was some older cats that I was messing with Christian hip hop, and they were there as well. But trust me, it had all of those characteristics. It was, dude, I found this was funny. This is a funny memory. And this is without giving up too much detail because I'm trying to be careful about that too when it's about other people.
I see the eye roll. I got to hear why that happened.
Jeez Louise. But
I
anyway,
need to hear that later.
But nigga, I found myself this is a small church, dude. It's like small. I'm talking about like
50,
less than 50, dude. Like
okay,
less,
that's good enough. You can
like,
leave it there. You can leave it there.
Like less
that's the number. That's the last number we say out loud.
Less than 50.
It's 50,
right? But he was caught up in like one of those fly-by-night denominations, one of the classic ones that had a lot of trash people in it. Here in LA, if I say it, you know exactly. So he's trying to, and these people have bigger churches and stuff. So he's trying to keep up with them, right? But he's storefront. He's small. So he going to speak at one of their churches. This nigga asked us to act as his security. Nigga, your boy is standing in a church with a Radio Shack nigga, like
earpiece,
but the old ones, you know, with both of the ears in there. This is stuff that he bought for this event. Preaching at their church, and it was me and a couple of other dudes that was in the group playing as his security. Man, ain't nobody coming after this dude, bruh.
And was it at least you really able to hear each other?
You can.
Okay,
we really
it wasn't
could.
just in your pocket. It was connected to a real radio.
It was connected.
Got a walkie-talkie.
But it was Radio Shack. Y'all remember Radio Shack. Wasn't no fly stuff coming out of Radio Shack, bruh. And I remember that. It's funny. I think back, to be honest, and laugh. But it was like, dude was trying to look like something he wasn't. And it's like, he wasn't. You're not. But I'm going to go speak at this other people's church. And so we out here like let's make FOIs.
Fruit of Islam.
And if any gunshot even went off, we would have been in our cars gone, bro. If anything really had jumped off. But I'll never forget that. And I'm like, dude really wanted to make himself look like something. This dude had 3 people at his church.
But
I was
security
the third one.
though.
But he going to speak at somebody else's church, and he looking like and I look back, I'm like, what is that? Could you imagine our pastors now?
How
saying,
you keep a straight face, dog? How you even pull that off? You stupid.
I was young. I wasn't even 20 years old, bro. I was still a teen, bro.
Ain't no way.
But you know, it was gonna help him look important. Like, Jerrold, I need you to do whatever. I'm young, so I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm in the parking lot looking crazy, like I'm finna land that airplane in the parking lot. But I just know how that. I'm speaking from experience, like how far people like that would go, and he was just what you described, doing everything. He was in charge of everything.
Yeah,
he was micromanaging everything. Oh, you did what last week? Oh, you can't go into the next show. You got to sit down. That's where I learned how you can get sat down.
From the next CHA, that's church discipline. You was learning church discipline. All right.
Yeah, but he the only one got the power to execute
the kingdom,
it.
huh?
Can't nobody sit him down. but he can sit air. So it was wild. I've seen a lot of stuff in church, bro.
But your boy Takim had posted on Facebook earlier, and it was kind of similar to what you saying, but it was like, I thought about it. It was like you take the money out of the church, and we'll see who all was called to preach, to pastor. And so you like, when I read that, I was like, yo,
yeah, buddy,
yeah.
That's one to chew on.
We wouldn't have 10,000 churches on Figueroa, you know what I'm saying, in LA, because we got one on every block.
And I hate to see it, and it's sad because it's almost, and it's an American thing, but you go to the roughest hoods and you see that, and then you wonder, like, well, for me, I'm like, well, why don't they just work together, try to, make it one maybe church in the neighborhood, but everybody got these little.
Who gonna get the check?
Yeah, and then it makes everybody in the hood think, oh, it's all about money, and it's sad because a lot of those churches do be preying on, and I don't mean preying, PRAY, PREY.
Talking about that predator stuff.
That predator stuff. They be preying on people in that community because you can, unfortunately, sell dreams of, oh, you gonna get your season and you gonna get this, that, and the third. And if people don't know their Bible, but they want to trust you because you're so charismatic and you look like you're already there, and you got a car, you got a nice little setup, you got a nice house and all that. I want that too. And you're saying that if I listen to you, which is really low key, you trying to tell me that you speaking for God, then I'm gonna have the same stuff too, and you can take advantage of the poor. That's all I'm saying.
Run this one too, because I want to see the whole thing come crashing down. Let's tear it all down and build it back up. And this dude is on that. This is that religion business documentary that's about to come out. And
I don't know nothing about that. What is that?
Yeah, the religion business documentary is coming out. It's just what y'all talking about. Run that. We'll talk about it because I got a chance to talk to him. Dude that runs it, one of the directors' name is Nathan, Nate, and he is calling out churches who are misusing finances, and he connected with this lady too.
You ready? How was church? Great. Awesome. Do you guys know Ed's housing allowance? Do you know who I could ask?
Ed, weren't you guys just asked to leave the property?
He at a church.
Here now, so if y'all want to wait for him.
Ed is the pastor.
Well, we just have a couple questions.
You're welcome to stand right here.
Where could I get one of the little pins? Does that mean security? Because I've seen people carry them.
Hey, this is private property.
Well, I just want to talk to Ed.
Oh, no, you know what? Actually, where's our law enforcement? With Tarrant County police officers.
Okay.
And,
do you guys pay them or are they on police
If you just
time?
hold tight right here. So glad you guys are back.
Thanks. I donated, so I kind of have a couple questions about Ed's. That doesn't matter?
Jesus is all about truth. We can know the truth, and the truth will set us free.
You are going to be placed under arrest for criminal trespass. Hand your stuff to them.
No, these are my signs.
You're going to be
They're my sign. This is my property, sir. This is my property. You can't take people's property on private property.
You have been warned for being detained.
Hey, my elbow is, I have a damaged elbow, so this is not nice. Don't take why would you take my phone? That is my property as well. I have a question about salaries and housing allowances, and this is how they treat people. They don't respond to emails. They don't respond to calls.
It's the fear of truth. We think we traffic in the truth, but I would beg to differ.
Oh, and trust no dude look like that.
Is it making the church look bad? Sir, you don't need to
Run this one. This one will
Wrist.
explain more about like the main thrust of the documentary. So on that one, your boy Nate was at a church trying to ask them questions like, hey, where does the money go? How much does the pastor get for his house? Because in our tax code, if you have a house being paid for by the church, that doesn't count as pastor's salary. So the pastor could be making $100,000 a year, but that mortgage is being paid by the church, and we call it like a parsonage. Back in the day, you call it a parsonage or something like that. And it counts as his salary in actual money that goes into his pocket because he's getting free housing, but it doesn't count against his salary on the tax code because the church owns the house.
I give 10% to the church. Where is it going?
It takes a lot of money to do what?
Brad asked a great question, and it's one we should all ask. Where does all that money go that's donated? Take it from the top. $890 billion is donated annually to the Western Christian Church. Of that money, 44% goes to salaries, 6% leaves the institutional walls for outside purposes such as missions, and 6% is stolen internally by church staff. The pastor he's referring to in this video is Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland, according to Forbes, has a net worth of over $750 million. Flies a very nice private jet, makes around $50 million a year, and has an 18,000 square foot home that should have a tax bill of $150,000, but he doesn't have to pay taxes on it because that home is in the name of the church. So in conclusion, the money that's being donated, the majority of it gets absorbed by church leaders, staff, fundraising, and in many cases, feeding the lifestyle of some of these pastors.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Now on a big scale, we could talk about like the extreme, examples like Jesse Duplantis and Jerry Savelle and Creflo Dollar and them types. But on a smaller scale is what you talking about, Jay. Like it ain't no way two hood pastors can come together because who gonna get the check? It's only so many dollars coming in from the people, especially if they in a low end, disenfranchised neighborhood, low income neighborhood. They only got what they got. So if I can't be a pastor with Buki because who gonna get their mortgage paid?
Yeah.
So hey, you got to get your storefront. I'll get mine, and I hope hope God be with you. But we can't split no money over here. It's only $2 over here. It ain't nothing over here. Yeah. But what they talking about doing, man, they've been talking about for a long time. And I got a chance to talk to Nathan, and they're Christians. They're not unbelievers. They're Christians. But what they want to do is blow up this idea that the money that's going to the church is actually going to God. It's not getting to where it's supposed to go. A lot of it is being spent on like lavish lifestyles and a bunch of stuff that I don't know if God would be excited about. So I'm looking forward to that documentary. The reason why I reached out to him is because he was saying like, I want to hear the other side of this conversation because we know about some of the like dark tales of people stealing and people that's, you know, doing that Kenneth Copeland stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know a bunch of dope pastors in LA, a bunch of dudes that's not doing that, still working, still putting more money into the church than they getting out.
Yeah.
You know, paying their own money from their own salaries and working 40 hours a week and still trying to shepherd the flock. And then other people who maybe don't have a second job, but the church pays for them and they not living lavish. Like some of us in the congregation are living better than our pastor because they don't make what we make. You know what I mean? So there was more to the story. He was willing to talk about that too. And he said he got a bunch of stories of people who are going to tell the other side of the story. Because there were churches that have millions and millions of dollars coming in every month and they won't open their books up to the watchdogs.
Well, I will say this, though.
There's watchdogs that find out how you handle your money and let you know that they above board.
A lot of those churches that have millions and millions of dollars, what I've noticed is there are a lot of white congregations. Because, boy, I don't see how you can have millions and millions of dollars coming in the hood. You just not. Now that doesn't mean that them people don't see a lot of money. They do. I know they see a lot. But when you start talking about jet money and hiding millions and millions of dollars, I'm sorry, that's them white churches. Fully white church. I'm talking about full playgrounds on they facilities with them big slides.
Gyms be plush. There be 6 and 8. All that. Basketball court, full courts, back and forth.
Because they be saying they paying a lot of that money out for all that stuff. When you be looking at, they be talking about campuses and all that stuff, and I be like, that don't be us. But
what you think about that? What do you think about an expose of where the money is actually going?
It's somebody gonna come up missing. That's how that goes. Seriously, because there was an expose when I first started treatment. Somebody from my church was talking about, this pastor was talking about the difference between counseling from the church and then some of the stuff that you need to be, careful from in whatever. And then he mentions this documentary called The Business of Recovery, right? And it was out maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Amazon was selling it. It was on, what's the other big one?
Vice. Sound like something Vice.
It was Amazon was selling because they was pushing it independent. And then, of course, they had their own site or whatever. Here it is 7 years later, and I can't find that documentary at all. Only thing that exists now is like the little clips from it.
Yeah.
That they put on YouTube on their YouTube channel, but you can't find the full documentary.
Somebody shut that down.
Somebody shut it down. And it was what? An expose behind the scenes of where the money goes and how some people ain't getting. And it's some of the people that was being called to carpet was like the Betty Ford
Clinic,
the big places that we've heard.
Yeah.
And they wasn't doing nothing. They really wasn't helping people. And it was low key, like having a high turnover on purpose. And then you got people like they parents like giving their life savings because they telling them like, man, they on the deep end. This will help them.
This will save their life. Exactly. If you're a parent with a kid that's an addict, we taking out a second. We getting this kid fixed.
If anybody can find that documentary, I appreciate it. And I went to Chat GPT to try to find it. Like, where can you find this? And it told me like go to, it may be in this source, like a public library source, like where you can get like it may be stored there. It ain't there. It's nowhere. I can't find it.
But nowhere. It's the game. Like like 45 said, y'all created the tax loophole, and I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
But the Betty Fords, the Red Cross, all of these places we donate to and all that.
Yep.
Dude, they only got to give a certain percentage.
Yeah.
And it's a low percentage, maybe like 5% or something. I'm just using that as an example. Like that's how low the percentage is that they actually have to spend.
You know what else?
The money that they get.
You know what else is a scam? And I learned this at Chuba's. You know what else is a big scam? Girl Scout cookies.
What you mean?
Just what he said, because they only have to give them a percentage. So you think you giving all that money to them, and they only getting a small percentage. I'm
thinking the Girl Scouts is going to Magic Mountain. They camp is free. They clothes is free. All the little activities.
Fully pimped.
Just like we said last time about the low income housing. You can have 100 units. In order to be low income housing, you just got to have like 3 or 4 of them be low income, and you get a tax break, and you get loans that you don't have to pay. All this kind of stuff.
All kind of stuff.
Yeah, from the government, subsidies, all that. It's how you play the game. That's how. Yeah.
And as the older I get, I'm realizing why America continues to be the most wealthiest nation.
That's why when Taco Bell be like, "Yeah, Lamar, you gonna donate your last 60 cents to the?" No, give me my 60 cents, bro. I need my 60 cents. You not getting my 60 cents. The Negro College Fund is not getting my 60 cents. You know what I'm saying? That 60 cent is going to Lamar, Douglas Jr., and Mama C College Fund. It's not going to the Negro.
You don't never want to round up. You don't never want to round up.
I'm not rounding up, dog. That change is going in my cup holder in the car, in the sparkless water bottle at the crib.
That boy said he is not rounding up for nobody. Because it's sad, but it's true. You gotta
fool me once.
Yeah, you gotta. And it's sad because it almost makes me sometimes not want to look into things.
Yeah,
and that's stupid. That's the ignorant. You don't ever do that. But it's like once I start digging into something, or somebody just bring it up, such and such, and you like, what? Then you start looking at it, you like, man, they ain't lying.
Yeah,
and so. What do I think? Back to your original question is, he gonna make this, but we're gonna see how long it stay around,
man.
Because one thing about America, if they making a lot of money off of it, it ain't stopping. Think about it. There are countries and there's places they are very tough when it comes to illegal drugs.
Yeah,
you can name the places like you better not go there. Remember, like Russia, and there's all kind of places like
Brittany Griner.
You better not go there because they look at it totally different.
Yeah.
It was a dude. He got caught up. He went over to what's the what?
Not the Philippines. I hope
he went to Turks and Caicos, right?
Okay.
And he had a bag that he borrowed from his sister, and it had a bullet in it, and he didn't know. But they are extremely tight when it comes to like that kind of stuff being traded, like illegal weapons and all that kind of stuff. They got real, man. They held this boy up. He was not coming home. They was finna lock him up. This nigga was on the Breakfast Club calling in, worried and scared, like somebody please help, whatever. Like I'm stuck. Like he gave his last to try to fight it, to try to get out, but he was stuck. And people actually gave money to him and sent money to his Cash App and helped him get home. And they actually he dodged the bullet, so to speak, that they let him go. But I just was thinking, I was like, dude, you could probably get caught at LAX with that, and that's not gonna be it. Now you ain't gonna be caught with no weapon. They ain't gonna let that go.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of stuff in our country that we would let go that will not happen in other countries. And the reason being is because we make so much money behind it. We'll never get, I believe, in my lifetime, we'll never come down on illegal drugs in America.
Do y'all remember that?
Too much money.
Do y'all remember the Philippine president? He got elected right around the time Trump did. You don't remember the Philippine president from 2016?
Nah.
He ordered a bounty on all the drug dealers in the Philippines. It was like 30 people getting killed a day when his first 6 months of president. He just said, y'all go ahead. Y'all see anybody dealing or doing drugs, just kill them. For the first, like 7,000 people got killed in the Philippines.
But wait, sir, I was just... Nope. No, your boy was like, nope.
I'm talking about he ran his presidency like we gonna end the drug trafficking in the Philippines. They elected that man and it was wild west for like a year, dog. Wow. It was crazy. Now I think he got to face like war crimes now because they was just shooting anybody. But I didn't think you probably wasn't doing no drug dealing for a while. They was killing it was a all out bounty on drug dealers in 2016 in the Philippines.
I think everything in America is a scam.
Yeah, well, that's because the older we get,
you young Dick Gregory. That's why. So it's like
all a scam.
7 out of the 10 things you see.
Big Pharma is a scam.
That is most definitely a scam.
All this. You be like, man, like China. Yes. I don't know if you seen it, but China said they found a cure for diabetes.
They probably did.
Yeah. You know he ain't coming to
That's what I'm about to say. You know we not.
See that.
You know we're not gonna get that.
You know how much insulin, you know how much money they make off it, and you know. So I don't. You know, James is in the medical field, so you know. So they put a cap on the price you can charge for insulin.
Oh, yeah.
So what the companies did was, you can't put a cap on this the actual what you use to inject.
The
syringe? Yeah, not the syringe. You know,
whatever tool you
It's a new tool where
okay.
you take the insulin and you turn it to a number, then you push it like the injector kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's patent. You can't put a number on that. So, okay, you can charge it. You can make us charge $20 for insulin.
But in order
this
to
injector, the thing you administer with, yeah, this is $2,000.
That's going through the roof. That's going through the roof.
It's crazy out in these streets, bro.
Man, I talked to T about
so
this.
shady,
It is worth like stacking your bread to the point where when you get old that you have enough money to leave this place and go where people actually care about you and live your last days there, or it could get crucial. The older we get, the more, you know, the higher chances are, you know, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna have to be dealing with something unless you just tip top taking care of yourself, great genes, and you just up on it. Eventually, you're gonna need that
Jay,
system.
This is what I need to know. This is one thing I've always wondered.
Yeah.
And somebody got to explain this to me. I can get a bottle of Tylenol for $8, right? Mm-hmm. If I go to the hospital and get one Tylenol pill, they're going to charge me $50.
Yes. Yeah.
Where do that add up? How make that make sense?
It's what you're saying.
Man.
It's a level. It is corruption, bro. And it's sad because if you have to really take care of yourself.
Some things not supposed to be for a profit, Jay.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Some things not supposed to be just a profit and loss margin.
I would never say medicine's supposed to be free. What I'm saying is it should be a system that's about making you well.
Yeah.
But Jay, check this out though.
I'm with that.
So the way that this thing work is we pay taxes, right? And they take the money, the taxes, and they give it to these companies to run trials.
Okay.
So they come up with medicine through these trials with the money that they take from you. Then they turn around and sell it to you.
Yeah.
After you took the money for you to run the trials you got from the government to create the medicine.
Tax upon tax.
And then they sell it back to us. After
that's why.
In what part of life does that?
But
does
everything shouldn't be an industry.
But
everything should not be an industry.
This is how I know it's kind of, you know, it's just a corrupt system, and it's how you play it, because all the breaks are going to come to people who create taxpayers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the benefit. Well, who's benefiting from this? The people who run the businesses, the people who run pharma. Those people getting breaks, but the reason that they get breaks is because these people create taxpayers and more people to tax, which means more money for all of us. And if you don't understand the game and you just casual participant, just trying to go to work, trying to feed your family, not really into, you know, doing anything. I just want to live, you know, comfortably. Man, welcome to the game, bro. And you're going to be taken advantage of. And this is why we open up our borders and we say, oh, man, everybody come on in, especially if you really, really hurting. Come on in, because you're going to end up being a taxpayer of some sort, and that's better than nothing. And then we like, well, why don't we help our own? Well,
that's me.
Is he paying taxes? that's the game we play. Uncle Sam is like, well, how much he gonna give to the game? That's just it. And if you have tried to figure out some way not to on a low level, you're gonna get washed in this game. You're gonna get taxed left and right. But those who learn the game and is in the networks and all of that, they learn how to what? Avoid paying taxes.
Yeah, I learned it too.
Who's actually learning how to like successfully not pay taxes.
All of us.
People who have a lot of money, bro. We still be paying taxes. You be going to jail.
We be trying. I'm not talking about doing nothing illegal. I'm saying like every dime I can write off. We writing off. If you got a third of your house that's used for business, if you got a cell phone or a car that's used for business, we trying to maximize that. If I give this man an extra $100 to do my taxes and he find an extra $900, I'm in the black.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm in the black.
But that is.
Look,
I mean,
that's small scale. You know, I ain't talking about no real money.
Create you a LLC, and then every time you and wifey go out, that's a business meeting.
Wow.
Now
I don't know if
you gotta play. Hey,
let's not take no tax advice.
Hey, I'm following 45.
You
45 is the tax guy.
You can play that game because I do. My wife and I, we most definitely.
That's why I'm not a deacon no more. There's stuff like that, dog.
We definitely play the LLC game. We do everything.
Hey.
We do everything, above board. There's no game plan, but what you'll learn is there are special breaks for you. But I'm paying. There's people who eat off of what we do, and they. What do they have to do? We report to the government how much we paid them, which is creating tax. So y'all go on. Yes, you could write off your whatever. I don't pay no cell phone bill. I don't pay no card stuff because I'm using my card for business. I'm using all this, but that's still low level.
That's low
low level plan. They know how to play at a level where they do similar things. But
on a bigger scale.
That's crazy.
And it's because they start racking it in because if, say, James, you and I start racking in 200, 300,000 in extra income on top of what we making, you're going to start seeing them just chopping
they
in
coming
half.
For you, boy.
Chopping in half. And you like, well, dang.
50%?
How can I keep some of this? And then that's where the other higher level games going. Well, you got to open up this. You got to start a charity. You got to do all this other stuff to hide money.
Nothing's supposed to be in your name. This is what I'm learning.
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Like even when you when y'all take y'all trips to Costa Rica, while you on the plane looking out the window, babe, I wonder if that's an Airbnb down there.
Business meeting.
That's a business meeting.
It's a business meeting.
Nah, but
should we open up an Airbnb in Costa Rica?
Business meeting. We write this airplane ticket off. Everything.
I will say this though, and we did learn this in Airbnb. Nigga try to sue us, you won't be able to find me. At all, because there is a way
behind that wall.
There is a way to set up your corp, and my wife learned it, to set up your corporation where that cannot happen because you don't. I'll tell you a story.
Own nothing.
There was this lady who, at her Airbnb, they had a septic tank, and they came and did the maintenance on it or whatever, but somebody left it open.
Oh, dang.
So the workers left it open, right? A guest come and their kid fall in there. So she got sued, right? It ain't her fault. It's the people who did the maintenance fault, but it don't matter. It happened on your property. They could find it, and they came and got her, and that was a sad thing.
Yeah.
What you want to do is, they can sue, but they're gonna have to sue the company. Yeah, and you got to make them sue the company,
right,
and never get to your assets and never get to whose name is on that property, all that. There's a way
breaking that umbrella, never.
Yep, there's a way to set that up, and we most definitely had to set up stuff. Once we found that out, we stopped everything, went back and set it up just like. But the game was sold and not told. We was at a conference that we paid top dollar to be at. So people who've been winning, people who got 30, 40 properties. And just know how to play the game, and
so question:
know how to hide that.
Do you think churches should get taxed?
You know what?
For the profits that they make, maybe not the offerings, but like any other stuff that they do. You think they should get taxed?
Not. I mean, a perfect functioning church is benefiting the community, which is a reason why
no
in
tax,
the beginning, because it's all benefit. And if you are being that benefit like you should be, then why tax people who are helping things be
It's like
better?
the YMCA. They provide a service to
But
people.
we in America, so what's going to happen with all this corruption around us? Somebody going to be like,
Loopholes.
whoa, we could use that, and that's what we see. Now niggas buying jets. And
Your man got an 18,000 square foot house in the name of the church. He pays no property tax. He pays no property tax, Buki. We're not even talking about the mortgage. The church took care of the mortgage, but they put it in their name. So Kenneth Copeland doesn't pay property tax. Nobody pays property tax.
But you know what? Somebody had
for
to
that 18,000
somebody
square
had
foot
to
house.
teach him that.
Yeah, that's
So somebody came along and taught him that.
Absolutely. Is that right though? Should the church be able to do that?
No, that's corrupt, and you're going to look corrupt, and he's corrupt, and all those people are corrupt. They sell dreams.
But is it really
and those
corrupt
people
if
is
it's
foul.
if it's legal?
Yes.
How's it corrupt if it's legal, bro?
Just because it's legal, don't mean
Like
it's right.
prostitution is corrupt, and it's legal in certain places.
Absolutely,
it's gross.
Look at here. This
I
is
wouldn't
what
call
look,
it gross.
Look,
I see how it works. Nah, it's a horrible.
hey, look, this is what I found out. I don't know how true this is. I'm looking into it, but I'm telling you, this is what I heard, and I've seen some people talking about it. I'm looking into it now. If you bury somebody in your backyard, you no longer have to pay taxes on that property because you don't pay taxes on the cemetery. Like it was a burial site, you can't pay taxes forever, and you can never lose that property.
Yeah, I heard something like that.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we get the titles to our episodes. Moments like this.
Because that's why they say Elvis did that.
So
they did
you
that.
can't bury somebody in your backyard.
And that's what
Ain't that illegal to begin with?
Nah, you can figure it out. You can figure that out because rich people have done it. They bury themselves.
Are you serious?
And it used to be
And
very
they can
common.
never take your property from you.
You got to remember, dude, that used to be very common. It was way before our time. But people burying their family in their yard and on their estate, nigga, was very common. Nigga, the headstones is out there. They're old, but people used to do that. And the reason they probably stopped it, I can only guess because it was so much money to be made.
Yeah.
It was like, man,
they was losing money.
I heard.
Because I told wifey, hey, just throw me back there under that tree, but let me grow some lemons or something. You know what I'm saying?
Me and my wife have.
How long would it more, man?
I'm with you, but me and my wife really have landed on cremation.
Yeah,
we really have. I know some people be like, "Oh, you can't." Man, I believe on that day God can put me back together. I seriously believe that. Why?
Unless you retired anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Like why?
Speed up the process.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you throw somebody in the ground, somebody that's been buried since the 1800s, you think they still in that coffin? Nigga, nah. You gonna turn into dust anyway. You gonna to dust you came, from dust you will return.
So I wonder if I dig a hole and like sprinkle the dust in there, is that still considered burying somebody in the backyard?
You gotta look into that.
Now you on to something.
Look into that.
You might be.
Now I'm in my Copeland bag. You know what I'm saying?
They gonna take you to jail though. That's the difference. They gonna take you to jail. They gonna leave Copeland alone.
Nah, but
you going down.
But I just thought like that's just, first of all, I know people who have passed and they did that, and I was like, man, you didn't put that burden on your family, and it was like way cheaper.
Yeah, funerals is a scam too.
That's got to be one of the top 5 scams in America.
It is. You know what? I feel like things that are inevitable are scams in America. So getting sick and needing medicine is a scam, and then burying your loved ones or being
dying
buried
is a scam.
It's a scam because it's like everybody's gonna have to go through it. So let's figure out how to get
40 grand. Like what? You 40 grand?
And here's the twist. They saying, well, how do you want to honor the person? And you love the person that died, and they twisting you by going, well, how do you want to honor them? You want to put them in this gold casket, and you know that is seal proof and all this stuff. And none of them caskets are like that, dude. Nope. The body gonna decompose. It don't matter.
We're gonna buy a $50 picture, real big picture for $80. We're gonna buy $300 flowers and put them all over the church, and we're gonna have a bomb memorial service, and then you throw them in the ocean after that. I don't care what you do.
I've seen that several times, and I think that's beautiful.
Come on.
First of all, and I'll be honest, I don't want to get all morbid on y'all, but
we passed that.
I know.
No, we still talking about money.
But it is like like a weird thing for me, and me and my wife had talked about this, viewing the body, and as believers, we know absent from the body, present with the Lord. But people be wanting to spend all this time with the body. And y'all seen the weird funerals where they've been propping their bodies up and putting suits on them and putting them on motorcycles and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's like, dude, that's a dead body still at the end of the day. I know that's your loved one or whatever. At least make a statue. You want to be all whatever. I've seen that at the gravesite, a full body statue of the. All right, go over the top if that's what you want to do. But playing with the dead body and people seeing the body, and then your last memory of the person in the coffin. That's another thing that me and my wife talk about. It's like those memorial services with the big picture and all that. You didn't see the body. It wasn't the morning, and we talked about the person. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be sad, but I'm just saying that.
Hey, dog.
And you do the 10-minute video now where you got all the Facebook stuff and all that stuff. You got all these memories going for 10 minutes.
And that's the last thing people remember.
Laughing and crying.
Yeah.
Listen here. I'm 44 years old. Just within the last 2 years, 3 years, I just started looking in the casket. I will walk by and not look in that joint. Bro.
Yeah, I
don't want to see that.
I don't really want to see that low key.
For real.
I know different.
I would have nightmares, bro.
That's what I'm saying. And then, a lot of times your loved ones are not looking like they used to look when they were alive. Everybody ain't doing a good job at this. And this be like, that's your last memory. I'd be like, nah, man, I can't.
I'm going to give the free game, everybody. This is a free game. Check with your local hospital. If you give your body the research, they'll take care of all the rest of the stuff. My mom's looked into that. She was like, don't worry about me, Jay. I got it. I'm going to give my body to UCLA. They going to use me as a whatever, and then they'll take care of disposing the body. I'm like, all right, Mom.
Can I give you some free game,
too? Wait a minute,
too?
no, wait.
What?
Wait, here's a problem. This is for the fun fact. You can look it up. You can give yourself to UCLA.
Yeah.
But you might end up on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Because, nigga, that skull that's over the bed was somebody who gave themselves to UCLA. That is a fact.
That can't be no real skull.
That is a real skull at Disneyland. And it came from UCLA, bruh. Look it up. And I'm Mr. Disneyland, and I know all the fun.
I would not question you on
all
Disneyland
the fun
trivia.
facts.
Never.
And when I learned that, I was like, whoa. Now, every time I pass by that, bro, I'm like, dude, that was really somebody, bruh. Didn't know that they was gonna end up on the doggone amusement park ride.
Hey, that's wild.
What you gonna say, Bookie? Though?
Hey, here goes some knowledge for you.
Okay.
Don't put that organ donation on the stick.
I'm with you.
Don't do it.
I'm with you.
Don't do it. You be like, man, he was in the. What? Like, he came in the hospital for a cold. What happened? now he ain't got no liver. He ain't got no kidneys. Like, what happened? Like, yo, they will kill you over, man. Possibly be on game long time ago.
Or at least do it when you old. Put yourself on the list when you old.
They don't want
they don't even want it no more.
They don't want it no more when you old. They like, oh, that ain't a good worker. That ain't
a young, fresh black liver.
Exactly. Don't do that in your 20s.
And I seen the episode of Criminal Minds when dude worked at the DLV and his daughter needed a organ. He was looking like, oh, this person's an organ donor.
He was at work.
Let me see if
he was looking
at
the files at work.
Going through the files like, blood match. Dude was out there causing accidents to kill a person to save the organ to give to his daughter. Hey, I believe it.
I don't think you should watch that much Criminal Minds and stuff.
Hey, bro, this stuff be real, bro.
That stuff be scarring you, though. You don't just watch it and entertainment. You come away scarred.
No, I come away with knowledge. Knowledge is power.
The boy Dick Gregory used to say that because he was like, that's why it was a lot of drive-bys so they could get organs. And the reason that they were successful because when it's a homicide, it's a crime. The parents and people can't get to the body immediately.
Yeah.
So because it's a crime,
autopsies.
And then when they was finally getting to the body, just what you were saying, organs and stuff was missing from some of the people. And it was a famous story about some boy that got killed at a school or something. And they found him wrapped up in something
in a carpet,
something like that. And
he
then
was just missing.
And when they found him and they finally got to the body, nigga, organs was missing.
He was gutted. Yeah,
so
he was
it was.
gutted.
I'm like, yeah.
Then one of them royal family dudes had like 5 heart transplants or something.
Man,
like one of them dudes.
They be walking around looking like they got skin costumes on, bro.
Like
they should
you
have
like
been
500 years old.
You should have been gone by now.
And
dog.
they get to with all that money, they get to skip the lines too.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever kind of lines is there.
Yeah, you
Hey,
don't need to watch
look,
no more of
hey,
that.
hey, the game's so cold. They probably go to some like little village, be like, "Hey, you want 3 cows?
For real?
Give me. I need that left kidney. You know what I'm saying?
Poor folks everywhere get exploited, bruh.
Yeah.
So
terrible,
horrible.
Well, I don't know how we would do that.
Just talking about different scams. I can always think of the thread. It's different scams, man. It's
oh my god, they be like these dudes is crazy.
The scams.
No, it's not, man.
We in Scam Central, boy.
That's sad.
Scam
It's just
Central.
and like I said, the older you get, the more you get exposed to this stuff.
Open.
Remember when that phone used to ring and that joint used to come up scam likely? I used to love that, dog. I thought that was so
that's the
dope.
government.
Nah, it'll still do
Scam
that.
likely came up as the
Scam likely.
the ID. That was funny.
Nah, it's out there. It's still out there. I don't know what else has been happening, bruh. What we got?
Yeah.
Did I talk about
your boy Kirk clapped back? You want to get back into that? We was going at it about
Where's
Kirk.
the-
Kirk
yeah.
clapped back like I'm sick of y'all.
Yeah, what exactly? I remember him saying, but like I said, I don't know if it was a full clap. But I think he was just stressed out in Florida, seeing right after the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, he definitely was stressed out about the hurricane.
Seeing the hurricanes.
I'm with you on that. But the reason why I think it was a clapback is because it was the same week that everybody and their mama was commenting on this Glorilla drop. So Glow had just dropped the album that week, and everybody was like, what is Maverick City, Kiki Sheard, and Kirk Franklin doing on this ratchet album? You know what side I'm on. But he clapped back, and his clapback was wild. You see it right here?
Hey, after the pod on the way home, I did play that album. Oh my God.
I probably heard
That
one
joint-
song off that album.
Yeah, no.
He said,
I'm
no.
falling in line with you, James. That you should not have been on that song, bruh.
Right.
On that
so
album.
do you think because the album is ratchet that makes a difference in whether or not
That joint is beyond. It's like Sexy Red is like the next song on here.
Yeah.
Type joint. Then it's like Meg Thee Stallion after that.
Yeah, I think she's
Like,
gonna do a whole
yeah,
project
bro.
with Sexy Red.
I mean, she had a little moment where she was like, God, help me not care about this dude no more.
This is what I was gonna say. It was a prayer on that joint.
On that song?
No, on that album. She
that
like
album?
did a prayer or something. Yeah, so I think you was right on there.
11:30.
Kirk clap back.
East Coast. I'm a little tired.
This is the week of Glow's album dropping.
Sleepy. So there's no telling what I'm about to say. There's no telling how real and honest I'm gonna be, because I'm a little pooped. I'm a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little emotional. So, and because I'm going live, I'm not gonna be able to erase this. It's gonna be what it is. All right, so I have to be honest with you. I think that we got to reconsider this goal of making everything so pretty and wrapped in this pretty bow. Every time somebody is a Christian, they want to try to talk in ways, well, God did this. It's like this perfection of always wanting to have the answer and the scripture and the biblical reference for every little detail in life. It's really beginning to piss me off. It's really beginning to be very frustrating, because it's like we want to quote and represent the things of faith that are comfortable for us. But again, when you're talking about a book that's full of liars, adulterers, whoremongers, murderers, thieves. Like nobody in the Bible was pretty. Nobody in the Bible had this clean, pretty life. But in real time, y'all keep wanting to make everything so pretty and so packaged well that it's like, if your way was working, Christianity in America would be growing. There would be an increase. But it's like, you see the numbers. You see the numbers of people that don't believe. You see the numbers of people that are leaving, but y'all still want to keep holding on to the fact that y'all are like experts in the text, in the Aramaic, in the Greek, and the Hebrew, instead of realizing that everything in Christianity is not going to be wrapped in a perfect bow.
That's cool.
Life is not fair. And life is not easy. It was not easy in the text. It ain't easy now. I'm in Orlando. I'm not in Florida. And these people have been hit with all of these storms. Folk going through a lot of bull with the government. Insurance companies are leaving them without their houses getting fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all still want to throw scriptures at people. Well, here's a scripture that I want to throw at you. The Bible says, rejoice with those that rejoice and mourn with those that mourn. Y'all are so pretty wanting to wrap everything in a perfect bow that you don't even give yourself a chance to feel the pain that people go through. Y'all want stuff, you want to throw scriptures and stuff so quickly that you just don't even give people the opportunity to mourn, to hurt with people. Why don't y'all want to hurt with people? Why don't y'all want to feel the agony of what our species goes through as humans? Folk are going through, bro. And y'all want to be so quick to just keep throwing all of these bibliocentric ideals at people instead of going, man, I can't even imagine how that mama feels having to bury her third child. Bro, y'all gotta help me. Y'all gotta help me. Stop trying to make Christianity so perfect and pretty and let it be ugly when it's time to be ugly. Job's life was ugly. Job's life was ugly. Paul's life in prison was ugly. David's baby dying after his adulterous relationship with Bathsheba, that was ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. The storms of life are ugly. And life ain't fair, and God does not always make sense. That's the truth. But y'all want to throw scriptures at that. Yeah, but let it breathe. Let it breathe. Don't be so quick to throw a scripture. Let it breathe. Yes, life isn't fair, and God does not always make sense. Let life hurt when it needs to hurt. That don't make your faith less. That don't make Christianity weak. It makes it real. So I was on one tonight. I'm sorry. Coming to Florida, seeing people not being able to pay for their houses, folk trying to figure out how they're going to make it. These hurricanes keep killing this state. And for me, man, it just, I'm, and I know some of y'all get mad. I say pissed off. Well, you've heard me say worse. So it's just frustrating to me that I'm part of a community that wants everything to be pretty. Life ain't pretty for millions of people. And y'all got to get in the dirt and accept that your faith don't make everything pretty for everybody. Even though our faith is the anchor, it don't make the water that it's in pretty. Okay? That's it.
Let him breathe.
Let it breathe.
No,
My first question was, I can't tell for sure, but keep in mind, this is the week that Glorilla album dropped. Is that about the backlash from being on Glorilla's album, or is that something else? Because I can't see no traces of nothing else nowhere. and not even in how he's talking. What y'all think? Is this about something else? Because
I think it's about what he said. I mean, what he was sharing, and just in general, how. That's why I didn't see the connection with music.
Yeah,
but just how we, what the thing that he says that just piss him off, which I understand, and again, it's a lot of probably the circles that he's in, a lot of the church circles that he's in, is that we can come off like we haven't gotten our hands dirty, and we haven't been in these places, and we haven't, done wrong, and we as if we can't relate to, human suffering. And it's like human suffering looks different in different settings. I think a lot of what we think is the world celebrating is really them just trying to get through, and which is a part of, human suffering, and just trying to make the best out of horrible situations. And one, of course, that's on the eve of the hurricanes, and that's what he mentioned, that kind of stuff. But I think what I got from that was how Christians are quick to throw scripture, which we all know is right, but we also know it can be handled, poorly as well. I think I always bring this up. The Bible prescription of telling people the truth is to your best of your ability with gentleness and respect. And we don't always be gentle, and we most definitely don't be respectful trying to tell people the truth.
What you think he's talking about, though? What is he talking about?
That's why I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, I don't see what other thing it could be about, because what other chapter and verse would anybody be bringing up that week that the album drops?
No, but just how he says that, can we suffer with people? That's what he's driving home. Can we before we come with the remedy, can we actually sit with people? And I hear that, and I know that being within the church, that is a struggle. And when people are going through ugly things, a lot of professing believers tend to shrink back from people instead of running towards it and just understanding, or just handling them just like you were saying dude was handling you about cigarettes. It was the same thing. He was like coming at you with brother, and trying to force it and let you to see that it was sin, and then he had to get checked like that's not the case or whatever. But that's usually our reaction, is to just go, hey man, the word of God says blah 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 on it, and it's not even taking in considering where the person is, at the moment, because of course the Bible is going to bring the answer, but how we execute it can be, whack. I mean, Pharisees and Sadducees knew the word of God too.
Yeah.
But look how they used it. So it's not like, okay, when you hear somebody using the word of God, you just automatically think, they mean well. Not necessarily. Mm-mm. So I think from what I heard, and that's why I let it roll, was so people could hear as well of his heart, is just like what he said. It's like we're quick to want to clean something up or make it look clean. Now we can use, I'm trying to see how it could be applied to Glorilla. First of all, Kirk Franklin has been taking and hearing these arguments before Stomp.
Yeah.
So I can't see this one being another one just taking him all off of whatever, because he's built for it. It's like he's over that argument in a sense, and he knew when he did the song with her and made it how people's reaction.
But he's saying, like, to me, is it like, okay, y'all feel this way, just sit with me, I'm going through this. But it seems like he has this same conversation over and over and over and over. Like he never gets out of that predicament. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was going through with his son.
Yeah.
Just sit with me, go through this with me. When he was when other situations come out, just sit with me, go through me. When he was going through with his mom, just sit with me, go through. Like, yeah, nobody's ever going to come out of every situation, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what he says every time. You know what I'm saying? So is this like, now that, is it with like James saying now that he's going through, now he's getting backlash for this Glorilla track, which he's never done a song with a ratchet artist before, so this is something new. So now is it just sit with me, go as I go through this one too?
You can count R. Kelly. You have to count.
But
R.
he
Kelly.
wasn't ratchet though like that at that moment. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly was supposed to have been saved at that time. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to have turned over and been saved at that time.
But he still got a ratchet catalog. But
yeah,
that he didn't take out the stores.
Yeah, but I'm saying at that moment, but Glorilla is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a Christian. R. Kelly was supposed to have been a Christian at that time.
And my thing is,
like a real moment.
Yeah.
And my thing is that here's the thing, and he has, and I believe biblically, he has the liberty to do that song with that person. You clearly just said they ain't a Christian. You most definitely got liberty to work with that person if you want to. Now, it's not going to say you're going to be free of backlash. And you can land on both sides. You can be a believer and say, ain't no way I could partner with that. That's going to cause more problems than, and I understand you, and I'm going to honor you, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. Mm-hmm. I think you should be moved by your convictions in that sense. But if you have liberty to do that, and you like, man, I'm going to do the song with them or whatever, and I'm going to make sure that this piece of work that I do with them, God wouldn't be upset with it. Now, you might be upset with me because of who I'm doing it with and the other stuff that they do, and that's fine. But what was actually created, if a person didn't know this person was ratchet at all, and they just heard the song for what they don't know who Glorilla is or whatever, and they just heard the song, and it wasn't, vexing to them, and it wasn't a ratchet song in and of itself, the person got liberty to do that. And I believe Kirk Franklin has enough sense to whatever he does create, whoever he creates with it, that piece of work, you can't be like, that's ratchet. You can't call it, because I can't say he's created anything that I felt like is ratchet, and I don't take him to be like very naive.
But this was my question though. Is it just let me do what I do and just walk through it with me? You know what I'm saying? That's what
That's the vibe you get.
Yeah, because if I turn around and say, okay, James, I did this, just walk through it with me. 2 months down the line, yo, Jay, I did this, just walk through it with me. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but the stuff
every time I turn around, but it's like I'm not saying this is Kirk, but I'm saying like this is kind of vibe you can get.
But the
like,
stuff that
you just want to do what you do what you want to do, and you just want to say, I don't want you to say nothing to me about it. Just walk through it with me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I doubt that.
And that's not what you did, Jay. What you did when we first talked about this, at the last time we talked about this,
but
you said,
can I say one more?
Oh, okay.
And then like, I'm saying that, we know that she's not a Christian, but then she says a prayer on her album too. So it's like, now we go back to what you were saying. Is she a false convert? You know what I'm saying?
She's talking like a false convert.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because she says
on the song, not the album, on that song.
But on, like I said, the next, I don't even like the next song or the song after that. It's a prayer. So it's like she's really believing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not
talking to God on the Kirk Franklin feature song. She is not talking around it. She is talking to God like she just like Maverick City and Kiki and Kirk. She is not. She don't sound no different.
She's saying a prayer, so she's talking to God on the album too. So yeah.
So my point was this though. Look, Kirk didn't do what you did. I can't put Kirk in the space of that he's defending the feature because he didn't say nothing about defending the feature. So I can't do that. But what you did when you defended him, Jay, is you said, okay, if you're gonna bring that to the table, James, you got to bring chapter and verse to the table. That was your instinct. When anybody challenges our liberties, you said, I need chapter and verse, please. That's the proper response for anything that we think is liberty. Not this type of response. And I don't want to put words in his mouth that he's defending his feature on here because he never said that clearly. But in a situation where somebody's trying to defend what they do and they saying, just work with me, just live with me, and they're rejecting the idea, chapter and verse, that's totally different from what you did, Jay.
Yeah,
that's totally different.
But again, I think, honestly, you're just putting words in his mouth about,
that's fair. That's
about
fair.
music because he didn't mention her name.
That's
he didn't
fair.
mention anybody saying anything negative to him about music.
Yeah.
He was just saying what he was tired of and how we do. And it's a percentage of us in the family that I believe it's because they're so image focused that they're trying to clean up everything to make it be like, okay, this is godly and God would accept this version. And like he was saying, look at the people in the Bible and the mess that the Lord has allowed us to see in their lives, yet he still uses them.
But they all apologize for what they do. They don't make excuses for it. That's the part that we have to keep track of. Like when you say that the Bible is messy and you start quoting people like David, Moses, and all of them, they all apologize for what they do. They don't make excuses for their sins.
But the thing is that
they all repent.
You're seeing their snapshot and you're saying, because what you're saying is these people are not going to apologize. They're never going to repent.
I'm saying they don't sound like just roll with me.
When David is doing what he's doing, it doesn't sound like he's a man after God's own heart.
That's facts.
And we see his life in pages, fast forward, beginning to end. We're looking at someone's snapshot now while we're living with them. We don't know what the end is and why, they cross paths with Kirk Franklin and doing this song. We don't.
Right.
But we can say, which is fair, we can say all the music they're making today is foul. And here's what I know because I've lived it. And I'll be sharing more about that. There was times where I could say I was not a committed believer. I was not a believer. But because I was raised in church, I knew enough Bible to make songs that were biblically accurate.
Yeah.
But if you looked at my lifestyle, you would have said the same thing. You would have been like, nah. And probably at that point, you right. And this person ain't repenting and I'm not listening to that, blah, blah. And that's fair. You can do all of that. But it's not to say God is at work, that at some point the person does repent and now understands the error of their ways, can look back and be like, yeah, I was out of pocket or whatever. But at the same time, I was just doing what I knew to do at the time. And it's ugly sometimes, especially in certain people's walk. I don't know who has this clean walk where they look back and God is working on them and God is pulling on them and giving them chance after chance. If we could really go back, we could see that, there was some hypocrisy, there was some ugliness, but over time it was like, God really did some things. People kept praying for him. People, just, hey, God is doing something, I don't know. And then they finally make a full repentance or whatever. And I think we forget that.
Nah, we don't forget that. What people forget sometimes, we probably do forget that. I ain't
absolutely forget that.
We do forget that. But what we also forget is that the person is agreeing that the thing is wrong now. And sometimes we try to demonize the person who's earlier in the process of saying, hey, this thing is wrong. And now we waiting six months later for the person who actually committed the thing to say, yeah, I probably was wrong. I probably shouldn't have did that. We need to go back because we were gaslighting the person who said that earlier. The person who said that earlier in the process was like, yo, this is wrong, fam. You should not be doing that with her. He should not be doing that with him. But then 6 months later, when the person actually admits it, now it's wrong. Now it's okay for it to be called out because they're ready to agree that it's unbiblical. That's not fair to the people who are trying to warn us about things that are going to be called wrong 6 months later when the person actually admits to it.
Nobody would
That's
say
not cool.
Nobody would say it's not wrong. Either it's wrong or it's not. And the thing that, talking about this specific issue, I see where some believers are going to say it's wrong for Kirk Franklin to be making that music with that individual.
Yeah.
Right? But I understand those who say, hey, he got liberty to do that and make that, and it's not wrong. You can't make music with unbelievers. If it was clear and said you cannot make music with because an unbeliever gonna do what an unbeliever do. There's a scale of things. They could be very good and very nice, and they could be very ratchet.
Right.
But they still unbelievers. Or they could be delusional and thinking, hey, I am doing the right thing, and they're not. They're clearly an unbeliever because of their behavior. And people who can check fruit, no, nigga, that's an unbeliever. I don't think
you're not gonna be discipling nobody no time soon.
And I believe the Bible gives you liberty to do that if you want to make music with that, because it's nothing that says don't make music with non-believers, but there are biblical principles that should help you guide how you work with people, to what degree you work with people.
Yeah.
And the man has liberty to do that. Does he have liberty to sin? No, that's not what we're saying. And can you listen to the song and go, like I said, if you don't know who these people are, you just hear these voices, you from the part of the country, you don't even know popular music, and the song is on, but you're a believer, and the song is played, will the believing person be vexed by it without knowing anybody's background, just listening to the material as it is?
No, of course not.
So it's like, so if that's the case, then, let us learn how to just, be on whatever side that you're on with these certain issues, and respect the other person who may have a different view of it, and be okay with that. There are certain things that we're not going to say that there's liberty for you to think and not think. Do you believe Jesus is God? It has a lot to do with Christianity. And if a person says, hey, I don't believe Jesus is God, it's very clear that he is an unbeliever, and the Bible addresses that. And that's very clear. But can I make songs with an unbeliever is not one of those things.
What you think about that other clip, the one about how you talk, it kind of feels like the same type of conversation, how you talk. Buki put that up, how you talk to people and how they receive it.
As long as I have good intentions, I could say how I can just get it off my chest.
Right. It doesn't work like that.
God says, no, it's not about getting it off your chest. It's about speaking it in a way where it can be received in their chest. And in Ephesians, Paul talks about, if you can't say it in a way that they can receive it, then don't say it.
Yes.
So unless you've harnessed a level of kindness and compassion and empathy to say hard things well, you may need to withhold saying hard things.
I love that, hard things well.
And I didn't have that philosophy. It's like, I just need to get it off my chest.
Yeah.
If I think it, I can say it, and then you work it. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
And God says that's not how it works.
Yes.
That's not. We don't get to let the chips fall where they may. Because what happens is the tone will do more damage than the truth that you were trying to articulate and communicate.
That's beautiful.
And you end up leaving relational carnage in your life, not because you didn't deal in truth with them, but because you didn't deal with compassion and empathy with them.
And I'm in total agreement with that. And
that's
I think that's a challenge, and I think it's a challenge the longer you've been saved. It becomes a challenge because you can find yourself in a context where you're with a lot of clean people, and they've been clean for a long time, and they have forgotten what it's like to be dirty.
Yeah,
and have the memory lapse of when they were out there, and then some people don't have certain experiences too, and I understand that, so they don't really understand certain things. Like personally, I'm not going to fault people who don't understand drug addiction.
Yeah. Poverty,
gang
fatherlessness,
banging, selling drugs, and all this kind of stuff.
Ghetto lifestyle.
That stuff is wild, right? But there's a lot of people who will. And what I've learned is, first of all, everybody has, some sort of testimony, and they everybody has what we say BC days. Everybody has it, but there's varying degrees of things that you may have exposed yourself to and things that you did. or whatever, and different life experiences. And, you know, like some people can be walking with the Lord, you know, since they were teenagers and just locked in, and now they're in their 60s and 70s and they have a different experience. They spend a lot of time walking with the Lord. Then you have some people who didn't get saved until they was almost 30 years old. Mm-hmm. So they have all this other life before that was, you know, where they just, you know, made their own decisions, if you will. And all of these people are coming together any given Sunday, and are a part of the body. God is redeeming folks from every tribe, every tongue, every lifestyle, right. Every, you know, you name it. You know, I used to think, oh man, God can't save people from the mafia, and then there's people that's written books that was in the mafia, and God redeemed them, and just seeing God just, you know, redeem all kind of people with all kind of stories. We just got to remember that that's what's happening, and we all not called to insert. I don't understand everybody's mission field too. Some people are on certain mission fields. I'm like, why would you even want to be over there? And they may look at aspects of, you know, things that I get into, and people that I'm trying to, like, why would you even want to? So I get it. Mm-hmm. But what we have to do is, I think what he's just saying in that last clip is remember compassion and how, you know, gracious God has been to us, and how patient he's been with all of us on both sides. You can look back before he redeemed you, and you can see how people were reaching out and witnessing to you, and whether it was a family member or a stranger at school or whatever, you could look back and you were like, dang, God, you was really trying to get my attention back then. And even after, you know, coming to faith in Christ, how he's still gracious, how he's still compassionate, how he's still patient with you, right. Even though, you know, you still dealing with some of the same stuff or being caught up in the same loops that you've been for years or what have you. And so it just, like, for me, it's just, I always want to run to compassion first. The Bible.
For me, it was, I didn't know the power that my words had on people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How it affected people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that people really cared what I said. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So it was just like, I can just say what I want to say. And my wife used to always tell me, Bookie, just because it's the truth don't mean you have to say it like that.
Yep.
Or say it at all. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, or find a way to say it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we need to be considerate of other people's situations. And like the Bible tells us we need to just be gentle. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. With our words. Be gentle. Be caring. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we look at people's situation, and then, you know what I mean, like, just have compassion, like you said.
Yep.
You know, and just because it's the truth don't mean, like, I used to love your boy, just be brutally honest. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'll be like, yeah, I'm
the
just
Bible.
brutally honest.
The Bible.
What are you talking
about? The sports, Jim Rome. Used to be like, be brutally honest.
I was gonna say the Bible describes Jesus as being full of grace and truth.
That's right.
It was a nice balance. I mean, when I think of him and the people bringing the lady that was caught in adultery, right? Caught in the act. Why these niggas was looking in the window or whatever they was looking to actually catch her. That's, you know, the Bible doesn't talk about that part, but they did. And they brought her to Jesus, expecting him to, you know, go off and act wild or what have you. But he did something that I think was very profound. First of all, he did something which would be another question I asked when we get to heaven. Like, can we see what you wrote in the dirt? He wrote something in the dirt that made all these people just walk back. Like, all right, you got me. And he ain't say nothing. Whatever they read, he was like. But how he handled her was, you a foul, you whack, you ratchet, you need to stop, blah, blah, blah. He did none of that. Now, he's God, pure. He could have, and he wouldn't have been wrong, but that's not the example that he did. He told the lady gently to go, don't do that no more. And we, for some reason, never find, like, believers, when they see someone publicly doing something wrong, and then the lynch mob gets together, and I can't believe, and everybody goes off and off. I'm looking for somebody to say, okay, it's wrong. I get it, but where is the compassion? Where is, okay, that used to be like me. So I totally get where they coming from. It's like, nah, it's a dog pile. It's like, lynch mob, let's go in the name of Jesus. And I'm like, Jesus didn't even act like that. So where y'all getting that from?
I had to learn how to do it. I practice in my home.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn how to talk to wifey, had to learn how to talk to the kids.
I was about to say. Yep.
Because, you know what I mean? Like, because the first thing, like for me, it was always in my, I used to talk to people like they was on the same level as me. Like we've had the same experiences. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when I was talking to people, it was like, we come from two different worlds. So you don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Like when I used to talk to my kids, my kids wasn't raised in the same kind of atmosphere that I was raised, but I would talk to them like, you know what I'm saying? Like they grew up in the 80s with Boogie, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's not it.
It's not registering.
Yeah. And so I had to learn how to talk to him. And wifey used to take me, babe, you spoke kind of harsh. You didn't have to say it like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I would sit back and be like, okay, yeah, I see that. Now I got to go talk to him again and let them explain to them.
Because at the end of the day, you just want them to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You want them to get it.
Right.
And what was crazy is like in our generation, they were just like our parents and older, they were raised differently too. And I think a lot of them was raised like very harshly, like stay in a kid's place. Kids, you know, got to be kids. Y'all don't get to say nothing or what have you. And I don't think all of that was healthy and effective but at the end of the day, they just wanted us to get it. And them soft skills and all that stuff is learned, you know, over time. And thank God you have a spouse that's like helping shape that with you. Like she listening like, that might have been, you know, harsh, but we only know what we know, you know, and y'all know that. And now how you have treated your kids and checking that is going to affect how they treat theirs. Mm-hmm. And with that trajectory, it just seems like it'll get better and better if people are mindful. Plus, you raising them in a godly home, and they're seeing a different example. They're seeing that mom and dad work things together. So that's going to have a very big and healthy impact on the decisions they make with their kids. So it's just learning, but it's just in the church, we just got to be more mindful. And some people get it. Yeah. A lot of my seasoned saints, they get it. Not all of them, but it's a large number of saints that you don't see them just emotionally popping off or just going hard at people. They can be very gentle.
Well, for me, when I look back, it was like when Pops was there and Pops used to talk to me. And it was like every lesson that he taught was like a street lesson. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was.
That's what he knew, though, right?
And it was like every time he would say something to me, and as I look back, it was like a lesson to survive in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Not like this is what we doing in the home. You know what I'm saying? It's like And when I look back at it, it's like it taught me how to survive in the streets.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and because like he would tell me, like. Even we go back to that, like, oh, somebody honked the horn. Don't be going out looking at out the window. Somebody honked the horn. Don't you know what I'm saying? If they want you, they call you, or they come to the door. Don't be, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking like somebody.
What?
I know this car. You know what I'm saying?
I know this person.
Yeah, like, but now I see why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so it wasn't just like it was a street lesson in everything that he said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So and I found myself doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my kids like looking at me like, why?
Like, what are you talking about?
You know, that's
Dad, I'm trying to study.
That's Uncle such and such. You know, he like.
Can you get to the point? I'm trying to do my homework right here.
Yeah. That's funny though.
It's just different. And I think being with certain people, like I was listening to, it was a nice video with, I think it was one of the Legacy events, the recent one, because Jackie was on stage, Sho Barack, some other rapper dude, and the guy that has this podcast is an Ethiopian dude. And they were having a little talk, and they were talking about, Sho was talking about how, he was raised a Black Panther, and so he had this mindset. He just didn't trust white people. He didn't like white people for a long time, and he was like, God just like led him to like a part of his journey, a predominantly white church, where he says if it wasn't for that experience, he wouldn't have cultivated compassion for them. And that's the thing. If you're not around certain people or certain lifestyles, it's hard to cultivate compassion for them.
Can't humanize them.
Yeah, it's just foreign to you, and I don't blame you if you're never around these people. It's kind of foreign. It's going to take some time, but he's like, but after that experience and understanding, he most definitely has genuine compassion, for his white brothers and sisters, because he had to do life with them. And once you got to start really doing life with folks, you kind of get it. But you also have to be open and realize that everybody hasn't done life with everybody. And once you sense that, just get comfortable. Be like, oh, well, he ain't been around Black people, or he ain't been around street cats, or this person ain't been around, business people, or this person hasn't been around, you name it. And just give grace and let God do his thing instead of, smashing cats over the head with the truth. Which could do more damage than help than you think. And that's it on that. I think that's our time, brothers. The hours have come near. But grab your glass for the last toast. And we out of here.
Really bad toast.
A really bad toast. And it goes, we all fall, but we say don't trip. We all been called, but all stall a bit. We all stand tall until that time we slip. Just admit, without the grace of God, I'm really bad at this.